your mats. Get your weights. Line up if you're walking wall to wall. Yes, great raw is it? It's raining, y'all. And think when you get old and this wonderful matter I call family, when it rains, it's so close to nature, it gets stiff. I'm going roller skating today. I don't give a thing. Yeah, let's get this party started right. Okay. I'm going to talk about Alabama during the... Hold on, I got to take care of the camera. I'm going to talk about Alabama during the chat and gulp. That's what I'm going to talk about Alabama. I'm not going to talk about Alabama before then. So, just want y'all to know that. I'm going to talk about the serial killer's wife who's with her husband for 27 years, never saw anything, suing the police. But she's European white. She white. She can do that on this penal colony. So anyway, we ain't going to talk about it now. We're going to talk about... Thanks for coming on the walk. Oh, y'all. Okay, before we get there, I'm getting rid of my bike. The muscles, you saw that bike, I sit down. Those muscles, they muscling with my biking. It's other muscles that must be used. But that bike muscle is so big and so strong. So, we've gone back to stretching. I looked at so many roller skating videos. Oh, I know what was missing. I'm like, I'm not feeling something, y'all. Sorry, cross in front of the camera again. My daughter says, that's how people know it's authentic. I was like, you can't look at me and say it's authentic. Trust me. Sponsors only want TNA, honey. It ain't none of it here. So, see, Carter Wilson always comes to my mind. The wonderful philosopher, Carter Wilson. He says, so is a man taught, so shall he think. Now, my dive into African American history, as a child I was asking so many questions, and I was called stupid, dumb, and that sort of question. I just didn't understand. Oh, we ain't never gonna get a job, I realized that's negativity, and that's the energy you put out there. But anyway, and I would say, no, I don't understand what the... Why we ain't never gonna get them? Anyhow, then the 60s came, and Black Power came, and I found out more about myself. I was in the New York City, East New York, educational system, and every time they said, oh, they talked about all the Europeans and how great and wonderful they are, and we only had a couple of European kids, but they used to go through the whole thing. And I said, oh, yeah, well, where am I from? Change the subject, open a book, take a break, go to lunch. They never said. It was never in any of the books. So, okay, trying not to do that. I'm trying to rely on my back muscles. Anyway. So, it was through the 60s. We had our afros, we had our dashikis and shit. We had our picks. We understood. And then they crashed it down. You had an afro, they wasn't hiring you. So they ain't telling you the truth. They say, oh, it's okay now for you to wear natural hair. No. They wouldn't hire you, and if you came there with your natural hair, they fired you. Okay? This is the penal colony. These are ignorant people. They thought if you had an afro, you would run through the office attacking everybody. I ain't gonna say nothing. I know we ain't gonna do it. We are too well groomed to love you, to love whites above and beyond ourselves. So I know they wouldn't do it. This is a penal colony. Okay? So you're trained. It's almost like the Stockholm syndrome. You love the people who attack, block, destroy, label you as prisoner inmates for ancestors from almost 600 years ago. I don't understand how people on this penal colony be getting all these awards. They're the most ignorant people on the planet. And yes, that African man, it's I can't remember that country. We're not going to give you $400 funding. The guy said, good, save it for yourself. I said, yeah, maybe the kids can get some school lunches here. Maybe you can give some families relief on child care and shit since you got them out there working. That $400 million, hey, throw it in the reparation pot. So that African leader that called Biden out, that Warden, that president of a country on a continent told the penal colony warden to take his $400 million and use it for them ignorant hillbillies, Hatfield, McCoy, Duggar, up there in them hills and hollers that don't know shit from Shinola. And that's their term. So, I was proud of that. And now I say, kick the colts out, African country. They're they're the dangerous of the dangerous. They going over there talking about saving your soul. I can tell you right now. They look at that skin, they say, you are sin. They look at me, they say sin. Because that's how they're taught. They're taught that our skin is dark because of sins from their cults, fueled by their cult leaders. Anywho, so I wrote a teen violence deterrent play called Mothers and Sons. I wrote it in the 90s. And I was sick. I didn't understand that we were on a penal colony. I was sick of us being betrayed as felons and stuff like that. But this is a penal colony. This is what they're putting out. And of course, I'll say it again, our ancestors are the reason for this penal colony. So, all my life, I think we're the greatest people in the world. The most loving, kind, I always have. And believe it or not, I have been hated for it. I see children as the greatest things ever, to keep this thing moving, to go be progressive, look to the future, use all the talents that your matter has. Let your energy use all the talents that your matter has. Get out those cults. Because cults say, that's why the doctor's office is full. Cults say, the flesh is weak and bad. And I laugh all the time and say, well, you know, the old people, they just feel another dog. They sit there every Sunday and hear how their flesh ain't shit. Anyway, so Carter Wilson says, so is the man taught, so shall he be. So I did my teen violence deterrent play called Mothers and Sons. We redid it as Madre y Hijos. That's another long story. If I told y'all the full extent of the story, we'd have to take it almost to part 52. And still I wouldn't be able to tell you all. Have it. So I had to research teen violence. I had to research what was going on. Gordon Reagan and his, I don't know, what do you call him? They keep calling it the military, but they're just glorified security guards. We've already established that. You can't keep the lie up forever. Anyway, they had just dumped might as well say millions of tons of cocaine in the ghetto from their Contra gun coke thing. But now they put barbed wire in the bottom of the ocean to get the Hispanic people. You see the bullshit of this penal colony? You see the bullshit? They went up down there and instructed all the Hispanic countries, this penal colony. They made those cartels, this penal colony. Coke for guns? Where did you get the coke from? The cartel. Okay, let me stop. Alright, anyway. That's why I don't understand how these people on this penal colony be getting this They Smart Award. I don't understand it. They need to get dunce hats. Anyway, so I had to research what is going on. Why is this happening? Where is this violence? How? And I wrote the play. It starts off with a doctor, you know, lab coat, stethoscope, standing in front of the audience and telling them about a part in his life where he came in contact with the patty rollers. And how he turned his life around. Moral story. The hand you dealt it. But you can change it. You see? I would not have done anything if I let that cult label of me being a bastard really affected me. But it's a lot of people that it did affect. And they're on psychiatrist chair, they're on drugs, they're selling themselves, they're in gangs, just from that one poisoning from the cults. But that's why they're on this penal colony. Because eventually it'll lead to crime. And lock them up. So you see why the cults run free around here? So, I had to do the research. I had to find out about gangs. And that's why I'm telling you all this stuff. I had to know what was going on. And I wrote the play. But so many questions stayed with me. And then, I think I was working at the library, and the New York Times, I saw the book review, Tookie Williams. Stanley Tookie Williams. I can't remember if he was dead or alive. He was in the hole so long. They could have probably said he was dead, and they had to show his body and everything, but he'd probably still be in the hole. Because these ignorant Hatfields and McCoys, they holding a grudge against me for what my ancestors did 600 years ago. So, you can't put nothing past these ignorant people. Hey, it's our break. Ooh, that came fast, right? Whew, that came kind of fast. Let's take a break. But it's just our pace. Yes. Y'all get the song. Y'all can get it on Spotify, iTunes, iMusic, iMovie. Oh, what does fucking Diva say? Been around the world. Okay, no, been around the world and I. An old Barry White song. Yes. The great Ron Jackson on guitar. Yes. Yes. And y'all going over there to Spotify and anywhere there's a podcast. And y'all check out my podcast. Me and Ralph. Ralph is my co-host. It's The Pond Moves First. Now, it's two black people talking about chess. Hate to them myself. We talk about chess in addition to how I produced a show, a public access show, where we taught the basics of chess through music, movement, and song. See, I'm a strategist, but but don't say it to anything because there's no. I used to call it, what is it, FDA stamped. That's when you get your certificates and you get all that stuff saying, white people say that you learn this stuff. So I don't have that degree saying that white people say I learned that stuff, but I had to research it. Let's get back on the wall. Okay. Yeah, strategist. Anyway, let's get back. So, I saw the book, so read the article, and that's okay. I think I read in that article where they said that Tookie called his neighborhood friends, because that's what they were, like they come from the cribs. I come out my crib, which we used to call houses then. And where you going, man? I'm going to my crib. But I'm sure it was a white lady reporter because, and you know the editor did it, because cribs don't make a gang sound vicious. Everybody would reason out, oh, that's just some homeboys hanging out. The editors, these wardens on this penal colony, did not want that. They needed a gang. They needed a gang. So, the cribs, I came as Crips, because I know that's not what Tookie called his friends. Anyway, all of a sudden now, Tookie is famous. Vicious. As all labeled African American, born and blood inmate criminals, because 600, you got to keep saying it because you have to really realize how ignorant these people are. 600 years ago. Or how ignorant we are that we let it go on. When of those 600 years, we've almost been able to really do with these bitches, and we haven't. At least 200 years. Conditioning. Anyway, so I found all his books. He wrote a children's book, like a teen book, and then an adult book. And I read them all. I'm going back to the 90s. Not the early 90s. Had to be the late 90s. Like 98. Anyway, 99, like that. Certain things still stick with me to this day about that book. About Tookie and his life. He said that his DNA family would come back and tell him how wonderful prison is. It's a great place to visit. It's a great place to live, hang out. Everybody from the block is there. And he said they made it sound so good, he couldn't wait to get there. He said he couldn't wait to get there. So, Asians in a hotel are robbed and killed, and it's Tookie. We're on a penal colony. It had to be Tookie, because they had already, who is those people who own the newspapers and stuff like that? They had already started the rumor of why we are labeled inmate criminals, born in blood inmate criminals, because we are so violent with this violent gang called the Crips. So they made the gang. The newspapers, the reporters, the wardens, the overseers, the patty rollers, they made their vicious gang, and now they can arrest everybody. Everybody can be affiliated. And the whole penal colony thing. Remember, do I gotta go back to the brick and mortar prison? It's the same thing, but it's out here. So, the police come dropping guns, and the shooting start, and the press comes, and then everything is this vicious game. So I had to look at Tookie. Tookie, a homeboy from the block. I didn't read where Tookie really went anywhere or did anything. But yet, by the time I was reading that book, his group was called the Cribs. C-R-I-B-S. The newspapers, the reporters, the patty rollers, the overseers, and the wardens on this penal colony made the gang the Crips. And I laugh every time I see those badass dudes with their guns and their scarves shooting each other. They say, Vicki, why would you say They made the gangs. Okay, this is a penal colony for us. Easy, that's why I said don't group. I'm going to get to that Alabama thing. But that's why I say don't group. Don't group. Because this penal colony and penal states have laws on the books of us African Americans grouping. And you don't even know that. The last person who pulled it out was George W. Bush. Don't group. So, Tookie, here's again, cults call people family, the cult leaders. That way they can manipulate them. They can manipulate them. If your daughter doesn't go to the same church you go to, don't talk to her. If your son doesn't do what you tell him to do, don't have it. The cult is the family, not the individual who has their own DNA group. They're not. They're irrelevant. The family is the cult. The DNA group is left untrained on everything because you leave them all the time and your thoughts is to these cults. You can't take them to the park. You can't take them to plant something in the damn backyard. But you can have them sit there and listen to bullshit being spewed at them for hours. So, Tookie's DNA folks presented prison to him as a resort. I think he put in the book. But when he got there, he found out that it wasn't. And they took him and put him in a hole so deep, he couldn't understand why. They was using him to promote their gang called the Crips. When I say them, I'm talking about the newspapers. I'm talking about the reporters. I'm talking about the patty rollers. I'm talking about the overseers and warden. They had to stick Tookie down in the hole. And what was going on above was that he was, because this is a colony that is full of made-up stories, that he was some grand poobah of the Crips, a violent animal that they had to keep in the basement. And then that was in the 90s, late 90s. Then, sometime in the 2000s, my daughter liked all this stuff. She said, "Mommy, look at this thing." It was an expose on gangs and stuff like that. The Crips, C-R-I-P-S, which is the newspaper gang, the reporter gang, the patty roller gang, the overseer gang, and the warden's gang. Not Tookie's gang. Tookie didn't have a gang. He had cribs. They did things together. They moved together. But that wasn't good enough. You're not supposed to do like that. If you gather together on this penal colony, African American people, you are breaking the law. You are gathering for no good. You are gathering for no good. So they're going to break that up or have it work to their advantage. This way they had it work to their advantage because now you have the newspaper, the editors, publication, patty rollers, warden overseers gang called the Crips. And they're all over the world. If I can say to Africa, kick them out. They're a made-up gang by white people on this penal colony. Not Tookie Williams. Not Stanley Tookie Williams. They put him in a hole. He couldn't understand. But I started reading what was going on while Tookie was in the hole. They were pushing their gang called the Crips. And they attached Tookie, Stanley Tookie Williams' name to it. And he clearly said his group of neighborhood friends were called the Crips, C-R-I-B-S. But you gotta fill all these prisons. This is a penal colony. They can't keep you enslaved on concentration camps and compounds. Yeah, another pretty name. The plantation and terror going with the wind. No. Those white column houses you saw used to be lived in by the English governors who ruled this penal colony for the king. The king moved them out and put in wardens in every penal state, and they call it federal government, wardens, and they answer to the crown. Anywho, let me get this done. We running over. Oof. Tuck in your elbow. Neither up nor down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good luck. I thought I wouldn't be hot enough to drink all my water, but I'm on fire. I got sweat running in my eye. But that's how I check my water content. My eye ain't stinging. Okay, tuck in your elbow, squeeze your gut, neither up nor down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and good luck. Woohoo! Like, comment, share. Tell an uncle, tell an auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. Subscribe. Let's do our gulp and check, y'all. Whew. Let me catch this sweat. I wasn't sweating. Remember that first half? I wasn't sweating. I was kind of panicking. I was like, wait a minute here now. I need to sweat in order to gulp down this water. So, that wraps up my Tookie Williams. That's how you know it's a penal colony. They named gangs after people who are in groups. They're easier to manipulate us, like they did the whole Tookie Williams and the Crips thing that they say now is international. And if I said any African country, focus on getting them folks out your country. Because if your young people is acting all out of control behind what the Heart Publication Company, what's that big publication company that owned everything? If your kids out there killing each other for that, I can tell you what, on this penal colony, you never looked at it, but every time they drop guns and you see them big groups of African American kids shooting stuff at each other, see where they shoot each other. And when you see the patty rollers pull over our kids and shoot us, See where they shoot us at. It's in the head, not the organs. All the organs are taken out. So there's people, when I was small, they used to always talk about donors. I was told a long time ago to do not put on my driver's license that I would be an organ donor. Because this is a penal colony, they will let you die to get your heart, your liver, your spleen, whatever. This is a penal colony. You are by descendants. The reason why this penal colony exists, that all its rules apply to you. They make it apply to you. People say, oh no, it doesn't apply to you. Just no, they make it apply to you. Just because they ain't dragged your ass out in the car in a while, don't mean they can't let you do it. Stop. Anyway, so every time you get those guns and you have that shootout, they get organs. And I remember trying to talk to a young blood when I was in Mount Vernon. I said, you're dying or going to jail. You're just a product that makes money for, I didn't say at that time, I said in this place, but now I know to be exact, on this penal colony. Because that's all we're here for. Because we ain't changed nothing. We've accepted it. So now, my daughter couldn't wait to tell me about, she is so proud, her generation. I call that generation, Generation Promise. I don't listen to these cult ignorant people X out my daughter, call me a boomer, and that's bullshit. I was part of a big migration of African Americans leaving the penal colonies of the South, seeking refuge in the penal colonies of the North. That's why they were shot. The saying was, oh, down south, white people hate it's like right out there in front of you. But when you come north, it's undercover. No, they're all penal colonies. Damn. Anywho, so she couldn't wait. She was so proud. I always call her Generation Promise. And people used to say that they use that ignorant term. I don't. I call them Generation Promise. And for me, they've come through shining. And me, don't refer to me as no boomer. Save that boom shit for your white people. And you're coming back from the line. Whoopie. No, that was y'all's story. Our story was we was running away from being hanged in the penal states in the South. Don't fucking label me. That's you. You was boom. And you'll leave it to be. But that's you. That wasn't us. We was trying to stay alive. Trying to stay alive with a bunch of ignorant people. Anyway, with a bunch of ignorant people trying to make you not stay alive. Oh, I said life. Okay. I have to remember on Facebook, you can't say DIE. You have to say unlife. You can't say KILL. You have to say unlife did. Or unlife. Until you put the ED on the end. Cheers. Get ready, y'all. So, there was this celebration in Alabama. They were on this boat, the Harriet, and they were trying to come back to port. But the ignorant, hat Hatfields and Hatfield, McCoy, Duggar group was there with their boats. So the security guards said, you know, the big boat's coming in. You can't dock here. Move your boat. So he moved the boat. And they started beating the crap out of him. He was a black security guard. In those penal colonies, they are allowed to do that. They are allowed to say, I'm white, I don't have to do such and such. Especially in Alabama. So, they attacked, the Hatfield, McCoy, Duggars attacked the African American security guard. So then, people who was on the boat started seeing this. Young blood jumped in the water and swam to shore. And, of course, the brothers came down. It was a pier. It was a celebration. They had the DJ and everything. And they commenced to whip the hell out of them Hatfield, McCoys, Duggar, hillbilly, hootin' hollin' nannies. And then the security guard and everything broke it up. Oh, this old guy just went berserk and started beating everybody with the chair. That's why I don't go to stuff like that. I would be that old man knocking everybody out with that chair. That's the rage that's in me. I saw that rage that I knew that rage. I didn't want him to stop. I wanted him to keep bopping them Hatfield, McCoy, Duggars, hillbilly, trash. And I knew what he was swinging for. Anyway. So, my daughter literally made me look at those videos. So, they brawl. And when they get done, there's 3 white people in handcuffs. And for what it looked to me, at least 15 African American people. Because this is a penal colony. African Americans already have 1 strike against them. It doesn't matter what those white people have done. If they'd have took lighter fluid and doused that security guard, set them on fire, sat down, had a barbecue, it's a penal colony. They have that right to do that. It is on the books to allow them to do that. They're not born and blood and made criminals, but we are. Our ancestors was born here 600 years ago. Some 600. After warring kings and the crowns of Europe, they started taking them as far away from Africa as they could. This is a penal colony. Jamaica is a penal colony. And this is of the crown. The Virgin Islands and stuff. They're of the crown of England. The other penal colonies, the Dominican Republic, Argentina, all those, because you had the crowns, the Portuguese crown, the Spanish crown, the German crown, okay. Well, our ancestors fighting all of them. And they kept getting reinforcements from Africa. So what they did, after the rule, when the tide started turning, when they started shipping us to penal colony. And even when they say you're free from the crown and the penal colony, you're not. Like, I would laugh every time these fools over here would say during the pandemic, oh, the British are getting such and such and such and such and such money and they don't have to work. Yeah, It comes from you. You got to get your ass out there and work. That's why they wanted you back on the job so fast. How the hell can England enjoy all those things if we sitting at home? So, you got to remember you're on a penal colony. Now, see, that's why they're going to jail. And trust me, there will be 10 times more African Americans going to jail from that, from trying to save that black security guard from them hillbillies, Hatfield and McCoy, because they are labeled born in blood, inmate criminals. They already had one strike. When they lifted a hand, even if it was to help the security guard, it does not matter. That's the second crime. So that's why they were able to gather up so many of them. And only, 3 of the white people? You see how that works? That's why the ancestors is trying to tell y'all, don't gang up. You should have made a circle around that security guard and kept them bitches out. Every now and again, you may have to throw back a fist at one of them ignorant yahoos. But that's how you should have protected the security guard. Anything else, that's your second offense. Even that young boy that swam was over there said, they is going to put him under the jail. That is his second offense. No, third offense. First, born in blood, inmate criminal on this penal colony, the reason why this penal colony exists. 2, water pollution, because he jumped into the water. And 3, he's guilty for throwing punches. So he's going to do a lot of time in the Alabama jail. That is the penal colonies of the penal colonies. Now you say to yourself, Vicki, what would you do? As I said, they said when you throw a hand up and you see something, try to surround the person being attacked. And you say, oh, Vicki, that's Aunt Jemima. Hear me out. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. If I'm ever out there and I see a hat go up, I'm going to go try to protect that person or try to keep them off from. I'm not throwing punches. I will be using my body because they'll be hitting, pushing on me. Especially this old black woman, they'll probably try to stomp me out. But if they don't, after that, I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to find me a Dole's Jolly Green Giant Bird's Eye property, and I'm going out there with me some gasoline. I'm going out there with me some hairspray and a lighter, and I plan on trying to burn up as much crop as I totally can. And every strike, that's why I'm trying to make myself stay in the house. I don't want to see it because I know I'm like that old man with the chair. But I'm going out and every farm land, every haystack, every silo, every barn, I'm going to burn down to the damn ground. So, that would be my second offense. You're born in blood, born blood inmate criminal from 600 years ago relatives, number one. Then arsonist. Arsonist 2. And that's how I'm going to go there. I know how this penal colony works. Going back to Tookie, they set you up when you're in a group. You got to learn to work as an independent. The one thing I like about those videos from Alabama is not that they got together and did it. Individually one came, individually another came, individually another came. Now that's good. But all you should have done was circle that security guard, make sure that he doesn't get any punches, individually go home, get you a Zippo, get your lighter fluid, maybe some gasoline, get in your car, and next, when you drive past that farm, get out and see how far you can make that fire travel across that farmland. The way y'all did it, young people, that we've tried. We did that already. The only thing that worked, what freed the people of Haiti? Well, anyway, got the French out. They're still all in the system. But what got them out and got them from under enslavement? Flames. Jamaica. What got them there independent and free from the British Crown? But the Brits are draining them as I speak, just like they just penal colonies. Anyway, that can't be like that. You have to work as an individual. Now you understand. Oh, why can't black people? And they said that on the tape yesterday. When everybody came, they said, oh, we put it together. No, we're not. We're individually addressing the problem. Not meeting first and then going, you can't do that meetup first. On this penal colony, that's against the law. So already you're at 2 strikes. After you meet up, you know why they get hold of you and shoot you? Because it's your 3rd strike. Born and blood, inmate criminal from the ancestors. It just reminds me how ignorant these people is. I don't understand how they win all these awards anyway. Okay? Second, you can't meet up like that. This is a penal colony. That law is put here specifically for us. Damn. And third, you went to the defense of somebody. It gives those patty rollers the right to unlife you. It gives these overseers and wardens the right to imprison you for the rest of your life. Someone did good. They found out where the store was. Make sure that bitch goes out of business. That's how you do it. If you find out they have a farm, make sure they're going to have to go to the grocery store to get their produce. But that out and out swinging and no meeting, no group Alabama, no gathering from this, I'm telling you, that's a 2nd strike for you. It's a penal colony. No grouping. Go, it's on the books. I think W or one of them pulled it out. They tout it out every now and again when they want to shut us down. I know y'all think we don't know nothing because we ain't having sex no more and our titties ain't perky. Let me do know something. So at that point, oh yeah. And another thing why you don't come out violent like that, all you have to do, when that hat goes up, and individually if you see it, you just put a ring around that person to stop the attacks. Anything else is a second strike for you. Even doing that is a second strike. Punching them and hitting them is a third strike. This is a penal colony. For us, that's a death sentence. Don't do that, young people. Don't fall in that trap. We've already fell in that trap over and over and over. I'm 65. I've seen it happen over and over again. Work as individuals. You circle them. You take pictures. You find out where they is. If they have a farm, a big corn farm, you go individually and pop some popcorn while it's still on the stalk. Okay? You can't do that. That gang stuff, that stuff like that, no, it only works out bad for us. And that Alabama is listen, all them penal states. The penal state where they done made up the whole African American history. They've been doing that all along. Pull off the matrix. This is a penal colony. Damn. Ooh. Is that it? Yeah, and when they go to the hospitals, you know who's going to pay for it? Because down there, I don't know how many African American doctors and shit y'all have, but you better have enough to take care of you. Because those people who you was fighting, their families is your doctors. Their families is your prescription pharmacists. Their family is your landlord. Their family is your wardens. That's why you gotta work smarter. So now they over there in Alabama, them white people, because you gotta get all your medicine and everything from there. They only got a black pharmacy. They poisoning them. They are misdiagnosing them. They're trying to tell you ignorant people are petty. They're making them sit long time in the hospital. The fire department is not going to respond to fires. The patty rollers are not going to come out for 911 phone calls in areas where they know is a high concentration of us. The meat coming into your area, if you ain't got no African American farmer you got to go to, meat coming into your area is going to be poisonous. They own everything. You still got to go back to them. Everybody who was fighting on that pier, every African American person. Now I know, I seen in Georgia where they have wives in medicine and all that kind of shit, and Dr. Heavenly, the dentist and stuff like that. But unless you got a couple of thousand Dr. Heavenlies and all that kind of shit in there in Alabama, y'all fitting to see how these ignorant people operate. Okay? Okay? You know that rape that When got their kit for and did everything for, they ain't never gonna test it. Why? Because you fought on that pier and you gotta go back to them. That's why I say stop doing it like that. You're only messing yourself up. All you had to do was protect that security guard, go home, put that store owner shit out of business. Whoever got a farm, pop popcorn, smoke string beans. And if it gotta be like that, there's a barn, roast some cows and pigs. Barbecue chicken. You can't do that. That violence is expected, wanted. 3 white people literally got almost 25 African American people arrested. And out of that many, how many think you're going to go into jail? All of them. This is penal colony. They need to fill the jails. Some warden was saying, bring them on, baby, bring them on. You can't do that. Circle that person. Circle that person and protect them. We are in the age of technology. Find out where them bum bitches are. Where that boat that they have, find out where that bitch is docked. See if they can see the flames from the moon. They ain't good at investigation. They're ignorant. They can deal with direct violence. But anything espionages? No, that gal never think to do anything like that. Them darkies don't have them kind of thoughts. Let me tell you what I did last night after my daughter showed me those pictures from Alabama. I took my imaginary patroller and Sparky up, and I was lighting them Alabama. And I know when it's a white farm because they got a lot of land, thousands of acres. And I went there. I spent last night sending up patroller. Remember, it's my fake drones, my imaginary drones. I sent up patroller. Then I send out Sparky. And we damn near burnt down a whole Alabama farm crop. When I went to sleep, I was like, yeah, that's how you do it. Stop throwing hands. This is a penal colony. So like I said, the whites, they probably home already. They probably sitting in them baskets. They got to go fund me. The African American, y'all going to jail and prison. You got to know this is a penal colony. You got to know where you live. And that's why you got to work smarter. If I had enough money to buy drones, yes, I would. Yes, I would. They so stupid. Please. I could burn at least 5 or 6 states out before they would find it. Because they would never think that an old, ignorant black woman, born in blood, inmate criminal, would do something like that. But yes, I would. You saw that man swinging that chair? That's me. So yeah, if I could afford drones and fill them up with petrol and have the other one drop sparks and go through the farmland on this penal colony, shit yeah. Oh, you see some shit happening on the stock market. Oh, you see the Monty and all them stocks start going down. Young people, y'all got to work smart. Don't throw hands. This is what they used to. Sorry what's about to happen to y'all. But y'all in one of the most worstest penal states ever. Most worst is penal state. Patty rollers fitting to pull y'all out the car. You can't do that. When you throw that hat up and y'all go and y'all surround that person, that's all you do. You can be mad, but be mad enough to make flames. Be mad enough to make flames. Not mad enough to throw, oh, thanks for coming on the walk. Not mad enough to throw punches. It's expected here on this penal colony. So the prisons just got about 25 new African Americans, and these are people who probably never even thought of breaking the law before. Let's get smarter, y'all. Circle that person that's being attacked. We have technology. Find out who the attackers are. They got a store, put it out of business. They got a house, make flyers and go through the whole neighborhood and disgrace them. Get real bad, get you a big lighter and some hairspray and see how many farms you can hit. But don't throw no hands. That they expect, and that's what they wanted. So I was telling my daughter, she was like, Mommy, we stood up. And I was like, baby, this is a repeat. Baby, this is a repeat. I done already seen and done that. Ain't nothing gonna come out there but jail for y'all, and nothing done. But if y'all get enough of them crops, y'all get enough of them harvests, you gonna hit DeMonte. You gonna hit Dole. You gonna hit Birdseye. You gonna hit the stock market. Like, comment, share. Tell an uncle, tell an auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. Subscribe. Thanks for coming on the walk. Yes, it's raining out, and I am stiff because I am closer to nature. This matter energy is gonna separate, and this matter gonna go back to nature, and this energy is really gonna set stuff off. Like, comment, share, tell an uncle, tell an auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend, subscribe. Thanks for coming on the walk. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.